Hello and welcome back all. Just looking at the package. It's one of the spools of PLA that I bought a while ago, back when I was doing the some of the black or the reddish orange prints. This is actually orange PLA, and it's I got it from a local supplier, 3D Creator, and I do believe, I'll put the link below, but I believe the website is 3dcreator.ca. He's right in town here for me, so I can just go pick this up for, I think it's like 14 bucks or something off the top of my head, and of course instant and no shipping. As you can see, it's vacuum sealed with a little bag of silica here, so you can store this on your shelf for quite some time and not worry about it. I originally had a nice big roll here, the back half of a bigger roll of blue PLA, and this came from a friend of mine, Mike. You'll see him on his YouTube channel. I'll put a link, and he's usually flying quadcopters and showing off his FlashForge Dreamer. And this is actually FlashForge PLA filament. It actually comes from FlashForge, and I think that's FF3DP. I don't know if you can read that right there. This was the tail end of one of his spools he wanted me to try, and so he just gave that to me, and I've been giving that a go. And I wanted to find something local that I could just, buy and have, and found these guys, so it's pretty good. I'm just going to open this up here. No smell. In fact, I think, the only little bit of smell I think is this wheel, which I'm pretty sure is made on ABS. You can see there's a nice big hole, and that's meant to fit his own printers. And you'll see on, if you go to his website, he has a line of little 3D printers that, and big ones actually, that he has for sale. He hasn't got his logo on this part of the roll yet, here or wherever, so that's why it was stuck on the bag. But it's a nice big hole, so it'll fit almost any spool rack you have. It's 200 grams of filament, and it's a nice little spool size. Like, I know people have seen like the bigger spools and whatever, but for if you've got a fabricator mini like I do, these are great little spool size. In fact, I'm sure when I get to the bottom one of these, I'm going to keep one around so I can spool up the stuff from the bigger spools. This is a nice diameter, and the thickness is pretty big. I don't know if this is showing here, but this was a bit wonky. That's the technical term. A bit wonky and unstable on the back of my little 3D printer, just to stand on the little stand that I'd printed off for that. It's pretty easy to just hang this on the back. And what I'd done, and I'll do a separate video on that later, was I took the inside. I'm just looking to see if I got one up here. No, I don't. I took the center of an old blank writable DVD, those plastic things with the post, and use that as a hub for filament. It holds any filament, even the ones like this with the small hole that barely fit with a broomstick through, which I'm pretty sure that's what Mike is holding many of his rolls on, just above his FlashForge. This of course will fit on just about anything, so my plan there is, again, just to put it where the black one is, and I'm gonna run a couple test prints with that today and get back to that. But there you have it. That's the way his filament comes. I quite like the little package. I mean, 200 grams is actually quite a bit. If you haven't started printing, you'll find out that that's a lot of fun little things in 200 grams, especially when most of the parts I've used in the last little while don't use any more than about 20 centimeters of filament anyhow, especially the end caps, and I'm planning on running a few off of this. That's why they're actually even modeled in orange for those that have looked at that project. I'll try to remember to put the link for that. Anyhow, that's his filaments, and I'm going to go install this in the printer and get some pictures of that, and get that printing a test print, and then I'll come back with that. So I'm just going to take this black filament spool off my little Fabricator Mini here. I'm just waiting for the print head to warm up enough that I can pull it out. And this is a little thing, the little keeper that I printed. And I just drilled a hole and put some stiff copper wire through what is essentially a CD holder, things that you buy blank CDs or DVDs on. And then there's a little piece of wood that goes across the top and then down to a little, one of the, I know you're not going to be able to see it on here because it's black, but it's basically one of the corner feet that you print for a Fabricator Mini, but it's been extended with a little hook on it to hold a simple elastic, and that elastic acts as a counterbalance for the weight of this on the bar, and then there's not really any stress. Like, I mean, most of the pressure is actually on this elastic on this side. It's probably more, way more than this side, yeah. So, anyhow, I'm just going to let that filament heat up, and then I'm going to pull it out and install the orange, and then get back to you. Okay, so I've got that installed on the top of the printer. I've got the filament up through the tube. Now I'm going to try, without my tripod here unfortunately, I'm just going to extrude about 10 millimeters through, make sure it's coming out orange. Yep, looks like we got all the black out and it's just orange up there. I don't like kind of how it's sticking to one side, but I'll deal with that in a minute. Anyhow, I'm going to do some test prints and get back to you there. Just starting a print here. It's just doing the brim. This is with that orange PLA filament, and it seems to be doing alright. Again, in this case, I'd actually clean the bed. You can see a little bit of glue stick residue on the far left, but this is what the bed cleaned. It actually started to stick right away, so this might actually be slightly different than the black filament. I'm printing it with the same settings as the black filament, but it's stuck right to this painter's tape without any glue stick. And the black PLA did need a tiny film of glue stick on it, which unfortunately made it very hard to get off until it absolutely cooled down. So it'll be interesting to see how this orange works. Anyhow, I'll update a little bit more as more's printed. Tiny little bit higher here. We're up into, I think, the 5th layer already. It's doing a good job with the supports. It looks like the berm is held. And again, this was printed with almost no preparation on the bed. And that is the blue painter's tape sheets that the Fabricator Mini comes with. I'm still on my original set. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'll come back again when the print's finished. Well, I think of it here, I was just going to show the file that I'm printing as my test print, because it has this curved shape here, and it's a ring that my wife happens to like, the shape of, but these curves can be kind of difficult for your machine to print. And I'm just going to go here. As you can see, there's some support material that's created above the brim, and that ABS Plus that I did a video of, the part detached directly from the support material, like it wasn't hardly even there. Somehow it printed great and came right off the support material with almost no effort. So it'll be interesting to see how this PLA does. And this is where we are here. Still about 25 minutes left because I am printing a bit slow, just to be fair. Anyhow, I will update as that end. And I just wanted to quickly show the actual shape that I was using for my test. I think that just comes from, I think that's one of the generic Tinkercad shapes. Anyhow, again, I'll follow up once the part's done and we'll have a look at it then. A lot further along now. Getting very close to the top. It's a little bit hard to keep that in focus. But as you can see, it's getting there. I think there's only about 4 layers of plastic left. Anyhow, I will follow up when that finishes. So, not sure how well this is going to capture here, where I don't have my tripod down here, but it came right off the sports pretty easily. The bottoms, I don't know if we can see this in this light, the bottoms had a little bit of, I guess some of the support is sticking to them, so it's going to need a little bit of filing. The brim, I think, actually is what stuck there, but that's nothing. Actually, I've been able to get most of that off with just my fingernail. I didn't need a tool to separate this. So this orange filament is behaving a little bit better than the black. There's a few strings, but if you notice, not too much. There's no real strings in between. The layer adhesion is really strong. Like, this ring is really strong. So that turned out a lot better, and only with 15% infill. It turned out a lot better than I figured, and it's very, it's really hard to tell. I'm going to take it out of the light here to just the regular room light. It's a very translucent filament, actually, compared to what it looks like on the reel and what it prints as. Again, very strong like his black filament, so I'm pretty impressed. It's really hard to see on this film. I'm trying to get the light behind it here so you can get it to go in. You can see how it almost goes right through. It almost looks like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like solid orange juice. So there's one for you, solid orange juice. Anyhow, it printed pretty good. The brim shows actually quite how translucent this particular PLA is. It's even this brim is very strong, but you can see it popped right off, little supports and everything. Printed quite well. I was quite happy with that. Just a few little stringies, and those are probably going to rub off. In fact, on this kind of stuff, a quick pass by an open flame of a lighter will solve a lot of the little rough stuff a lot better and look a lot better than sanding it. But yeah, geez, 0.2 millimeters, and it's nice and smooth. I'm going to have to try one of my extrusion, L-type extrusion parts on this in a minute and see how that goes. Anyhow, I would call that real nice print, successful print. First print with this orange, the very first print with this orange. No prep to the bed, didn't even put glue stick down. Very strong, really good layer adhesion, nice and simple to work with. And again, that was, I'll put the link to his website below. And as always, thanks for watching.